Hi, welcome to the Crypto Republic. Before we dive in, if you're serious about staying ahead in this once-in-a-lifetime financial shift, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Republic. Picture a hotel corridor at 3:03 a.m., the kind with the soft hum in the vents and carpet so thick your footsteps vanish. A single door at the end is just starting to swing shut. There's a brass plate on it, 500 XRP. You're 10 paces away, half asleep, phone screen pale in your hand. And then thunk, latch closed. Now imagine you realize that door wasn't just another room. It was a gateway, not to yachts or private islands, that's fantasy, but to optionality, to saying yes to the right things at the right time. This is not financial advice. It's a short story about decisions, thresholds, and a number that looks small until it isn't. Welcome to 500 XRP, enough to hit it big in 2025. Today we're going to separate novelty from utility, a rumor from runway, and explore whether a simple, almost boring number, 500, can still change a life when the cycle turns. Mine didn't start with the press release either. It started with a 1 a.m. nudge from a friend. She texted 12 words. Most people will never own anywhere near 500 XRP. Wild, right? 12 words, and suddenly my brain was awake like a fire alarm. Why? Because accessible today can become psychologically impossible tomorrow. Ask anyone who thought Bitcoin at $12 was a joke and begged for $30,000 discounts a decade later. I opened a dusty spreadsheet and typed a simple line. 500 coins times price at liftoff? At small numbers, it felt like a cracked screen repair. At mid numbers, it felt like a used car. Push it further and suddenly it was life pivot money, not retire tomorrow, but buy time, buy choices, money. The number didn't change. My frame did. So is 500 XRP enough? Wrong question. The real question is, what happens to your psychology before the rest of the world rediscovers math? Imagine lining up at a dessert bar. You've scoped the cheesecake. Then a wedding party storms in and buys it all. There's food left, sure, but every second you hesitate, the menu shrinks. That's the market float under pressure. Headline numbers sound big. Available numbers are smaller. Escrow's long-term holders, institutional wallets, float tightens like a belt. Dollar cost averaging is like growing bamboo. For ages, it looks like you're watering mud. And then boom, 6 feet in a week. Most people yank the plant out the week before it sprouts. Not because the math failed, but because patience did. At $2 a coin, feels like a toy. At $10, it feels serious. At 20 plus, imagination widen and FOMO grows fang. The asset didn't change overnight, or the category label did. Investors don't buy numbers. They buy narratives that make those numbers feel safe enough. And I drove to the old municipal airport. Chain link fences, sodium lights, the faint thunder of distant jets. Liquidity, she said, pointing at the runway, isn't just there, it gets cleared. In markets, clearance looks like pilots finishing integrations, maturing compliance frameworks, locking in. It's quiet work. Then one day the tower says, cleared for takeoff. The telegraph didn't make messages exist. It made them arrive in time to matter. Roman aqueducts didn't invent water. They directed it where civilization could use it. The container ship didn't invent trade. It standardized it so costs collapse. Utility networks turn latent demand into compounding adoption. If XRP sits anywhere near that class, payments, plumbing, settlement rails, then price is the lagging storyteller. Every technology rides the same wave. Disbelief leads to trial. Trial leads to mania. Mania leads to maturity. When belief crosses a threshold, markets reprice the future into the present, often rudely and all at once. Lewis, long-haul trucker turned weekend quant, loves probability, hates hype. You, the tiebreaker. We made a pact. 500 is not a finish line, it's a line in the sand, a reason to train discipline. 500, the I showed up tier, psychological training wheels. 1,000, the I'm serious tier, starts to feel real in any cycle. 10,000, the I built a plan tier, hard, boring, transformative. No prophecies here, just capacity building. Like adding plates to a barbell 1 week at a time. Open a pad now for me. If price equals $5, then 500 coins equals 2,500. If price equals $10, then 500 coins equals 5,000. If price equals $25, then 500 coins equals 12,500. Not retire tomorrow money, but decision enough money. Enough to change the shape of a year. Enough to buy time. Think of a town with 55,000 homes. Sounds abundant. Until you learn half are under renovation, a chunk of locked-in decade-long leases, and only a sliver is actually for sale. Circulating supply does not equal tradable supply, okay? The difference is where squeezes are born. Early oil fields, railway rights of way, spectrum licenses, Bitcoin's first decade. While the crowd argues on social, the quiet hands accumulate in buckets that rarely spill back. We've seen this movie. One treasury adds exposure. Exposure leads to headlines. Headlines leads to copycat benchmarks. Leads to float thins. Price becomes a beacon. It's not manipulation. It's herding in suits. I set a rule. Small fixed buys every Friday before noon. Rain, shine, red candles. Sometimes I add on fear days. It wasn't heroic. It was habit. 3 months looked like nothing. 6 months looked like, huh? A year looked like a plan that worked. We don't control outcomes. We control exposure and time. Rule, stop trying to be right today. Try to be positioned when right arrives. No leverage. Buy with boredom. Don't chase green candles. Focus on utility data, real corridors, real throughput, real partners. Respect volatility. Plan for like storm seasons. Maya calls it the escalator illusion. At the bottom, it's dead. At the middle, maybe I'll wait. Near the top, it's obvious I'll buy now. Same escalator, different psychology. Your job is to walk onto it before it looks glamorous. In Rome, they built arches to carry weight across space. The keystone is tiny, but remove it and the arch collapses. The 500 is your keystone. Modest, almost invisible, until the structure stands because of it. What if regulations stall? What if competitors win corridors? What if utility undelivers? Great. Price and uncertainty. That's what positioning size is for. Risk isn't a monster under the bed. It's a budget you assign. Meme season come and go like fireworks. Utility is more like hydroelectric. Boring infrastructure that hums for decades. The flashy stuff trends, the plumbing compounds. Here's the radical bit. You don't need outlandish numbers to win. Even mid-range outcomes can be life-shifting if you cost base and time horizons are sane. The internet rewarded patience. So did mobile. So did cloud. Utility tends to pay the patient. Back at the fence line, a first light breaks. A jet holds short, then rolls. The sound isn't dramatic. It's inevitable. Takeoff. Look slow up close and suddenly far from away. Markets are the same. You don't get a calendar invite for parabolic. You get silence, then catch up. The hallway again. The brass plate again. 500, 1,000, 10,000. Doors don't shout, they hinge. The decision is simple, not easy. Will you be the person who needs headlines to feel safe, or the person who needed a plan to feel ready? So know your number. 500, 1,000, 10,000? Automate what you can. Emotion hates automation. Track utility signals. Orders integrations, real throughputs. Accept volatility like winter. Dress for it, don't curse the snow. Write your exit rules while you're calm. Is 500 XRP enough? It's enough to matter if you pair it with discipline. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a keystone, a small stone that holds together a bigger arch. If 2025 delivers clearance, 500 can be the difference between watching a runway and using one. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment with your thoughts. Turn on notifications, and most importantly, subscribe to the Crypto Republic, bringing you the truth about XRP, global banking moves, and the wealth transfer already unfolding. Don't just watch history happen. Stay informed, stay ahead, stay in the Republic.